For more on Lagos grassroots governance, our correspondent Sarah Ayeku joins me live in the studio. Sarah, you're welcome.
Well, thank you so much, of course.
So tell us, give us updates on exactly what happened at the swearing-in ceremony today.
So before you get into the government house, you know how it is when you have ceremonies like this. Yes. There are a lot of people, they're like VIPs and then VVIPs and then VVVIPs, if I would say that. And so from the entrance, that's the State House of Assembly, to the other entrance, it was difficult to get in. But as, of course, newsmen, we get the pass, and then we get to the government house, and then we show our passes, and then we're allowed in. And so for the other guests, the supporters had to stay outside, that's at the corridor of the State House of Assembly, and then just the chairman and their spouses and other government functionaries could get into the government house, of course, for this historic, because it's historic for democracy, it's historic for the state, it's also historic for the men that were sworn in today. So they were allowed in, and then when they got in, it was pretty short, the event, actually, because immediately the governor came in. The event started, the chairman was sworn in, and then they had the speech from the governor, which was a note of warning to them to hit the ground running. Work had started already. They were elected in July 12th, and so he's expecting that from tomorrow, Monday, they would get to their offices officially, and then, of course, bring on the councillors and then start working. And he also gave them an instruction not to elect, not to appoint their entourage of, say, media assistants, portfolios you have. Not yet. He said it could appoint them like in 30 to 60 days, but the only person they could appoint for now is their chief of staff. And so he's expecting that with that one appointment, they should go for town hall meetings, engage the people more, and just hit the ground running, because Lagos is a state that needs that local government, governance. And you go to Amu Odofin, for instance, where they're complaining about bad roads. You go to even Ibejuleki and some other local communities where they do not have access to healthcare, for instance, particularly on the island. In the slums, they do not have access to healthcare. So, and another question is how affordable is the healthcare, even if they can access it. So these are some of the things the governor is expecting this local government chairman to take up as soon as they resume office on Monday.
Now, of course, we know this particular election was a landslide victory for the APC, but there was a little bit of an anomaly in Yaba LCDA Ward D. There was a particular anomaly. The PDP councillor actually won. But during that election, there was a little bit of skirmish of, violence here and there. Did the supporters of the PDP, did they show up at this event? Because I'm imagining it would have been very, very intimidating for them.
Of course.
But did they show up? Did the PDP supporters show up?
It would have been intimidating for any of the opposition parties to show up, because this is, during election period, we know what happens where you get to speak or denigrate the character of the other, person in the other political party. And so now that, the APC had the landslide victory, aside that one seat, and I'm pretty sure, I'm just thinking that it's possible that one person might just jump ship anytime soon, because
but he used to be in the APC before, so it's very possible.
We've seen it happen across board, from the National Assembly down to the State House Assembly, and across states. We've seen it happen where people are going to political parties that could further, uplift whatever ambitions they have for the people and, of course, for themselves. So to get supporters from the opposition party would be difficult, because most of them came in, very good attires, matching attires. Of course, they would an opposition party would not have, shown up at that particular place. But of course, that does not mean the one, PDP councillor wouldn't have gotten his own supporters. But of course, it would just be like a tiny fraction out of all the supporters I saw today.
So let's talk about words that were said or were made by the newly appointed chairman and councillors. Were they convincing enough, especially when it comes to what they plan to do when it comes to grassroots governance? So
I think this is time, right? It's time. It's high time for residents in Lagos to actually start to engage this chairman and their councillors. You cannot say that you don't, because I know that a lot of people don't even know them. So interestingly, when I saw all of the 57 chairmen, I saw that there were just 11 women on the board. Good improvement. For some people would say, at least we're seeing more of women participate in local elections. And it's a good step, of course, in the right direction. to get more women on board. But people need to now start to know their chairmen and their councillors, because if you don't know them, then you can't hold them accountable, right? So whether these people, they kind of like have what they want to do, but it boils down to, are people ready to engage them to say, okay, because when I spoke with, a couple of them today, they were saying youth empowerment, which kind of like sounds really ambiguous, right? Because youth empowerment is like,
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So for you to say youth empowerment, you have to not a lot of young people want to do ICT. So that's like the go-to. They want to build an ICT hub for youths, thinking that will really help, buy computers and then stock it. But that may not be what the youths in the local community need, right? They might be needing some other things. So it's important that the chairman, of course, engage the communities to ascertain if road infrastructure is what they need, to see if schools are what they need, to see if is healthcare and what have you. So that engagement is important. So when they call you for a town hall meeting, right? Do show up.
That's very important. When they call you for a town hall meeting, do show up. Thank you so much, Sarah Ayeku, for coming through with the updates from the Lagos House.
All right.
Thank you very much.